I got on my trusty American flag, representing for the empire of all empires, the most powerful country, militarily and economically superior. But what I want y'all to understand is that as Africans, I want to speak to my African people. What you gotta understand is that Black Americans are a threat to Africans, and so are white Americans, because white Americans aren't only looking out for the majority of white Americans, unless they're like Catholics, they're only looking out for other white people for their success. They don't even care about you getting a job. And then Black Americans, the music of Black Americans, the mainstream Black American music, unless it's Christian or Catholic rap, is telling you that paying your enemies back with revenge is the way to go. Like, the mainstream message of rap music is like basically in line with the Church of Satan. Like, basically live for pleasure and pay back your enemies, and anyone who tries to obstruct you, pay them back with violence. That's what the mainstream message of mainstream rap music is. Like, if anyone disrespects you, you disrespect them with revenge. It would equal or harder back. Like, what you gotta understand, as an African in America, we're a minority out here, so we gotta stick together. Like, if you're in the Maryland, DC area, or New York City, y'all gotta distinguish yourself from Black Americans. We're not niggers. It's okay to call yourself a nigger, but understand in your heart, we're not niggers. We're Africans, and we have our own tribes. But we're all Africans and united by English and French. But what you gotta understand is that go to school, try to do whatever it takes to complete your education. If that means cutting out your friends, cutting out the music, cutting out the movies to get your education done, get your education out of the way, and get into the workplace, you can thrive. Get married and stay in the church, stay in the Church of Christ, because you got to understand that the Black Americans are dangerous towards us. The majority of, like 90% of Black Americans are dangerous towards Africans. They're dangerous towards each other. And then you gotta understand that the KKK and the racist white people don't want us to have jobs either. The KKK is trying to keep jobs for white people only. Then you gotta understand that the problem with the police is that not all police are bad, but the problem is that when the police see you driving an expensive car, they always assume that you're in the wrong. So when they pull you over, they're always assuming you're a criminal. It's unfortunate that the police always act like when your skin is dark or when you're African that you're bad. Even sometimes they'll just pull you out of the car for the sake of trying and pass you down just for the sake of seeing if you have a gun. Even when you've done nothing illegal, they search your whole car because they want to see if you have a weapon on you. What you gotta understand about alcohol and drugs is that if you use alcohol or drugs or weed or anything like that, you understand when you consume those substances and you get in a car to drive, you become an enemy of the state, because the police have the right to pull you over when you're drunk or when you're high behind the wheel. Like, you just become an enemy of the state. So you understand that if you're a person who consumes alcohol or drugs, you become an enemy of the state when you consume those substances and you get into a vehicle. When you consume them in your house and you stay in your house, it's okay. But many times you'll be in your house and then someone will call you, come pick me up when you're high off of weed, and you got to get in the car and drive. And if you get in an accident and you can't remember what you need to write, what you need to exchange other information with other people, you're gonna have a problem because the police are gonna realize you're high or something. But so what I'm trying to say is that you gotta understand that you gotta be wise. You gotta like, if you smoke weed regularly, give it a good hour and a half or 2 hours to cool off before you get into a car to drive. And if you drink alcohol and you can't, and it affects you badly, you got to give it a good 2-3 hours to wear off before you drive in a car. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you drink Everclear, 96% alcohol, it affects you stronger than typical alcohol. So Everclear, because even if Everclear doesn't make you drunk, if you drink enough of it, it'll start to make you a little bit dizzy. But it wears off for me after about an hour or two. So what you gotta understand is that stronger alcohol affects you worse. But what you gotta understand is that you gotta know yourself and stay safe out here, because there is danger in the world, y'all. So stay safe and stay up, y'all.